there are steps you take in grief where you have steps of cycles you go through and all of that. If I look back at what I have done, and by all means I haven't accomplished and haven't stopped my journey yet, what I have done is really listen to my own voices in my own body, my mind, identifying and really not kidding yourself that it's not happening. Denial was the biggest fear, I think. It is a great place to be in because it gives you some solace, but being very real about your emotions and being out about it and really saying that this is hurting you, it's almost like not being constipated, if you know what I mean. I always use that analogy with my patients with chronic pain, I suppose, that if you just internalize everything, you become constipated. You really need to let it out and flush it out of your system. That might be a very painful process because, being vulnerable about your emotions is very painful. But unfortunately, for me, I found that that was the only way I can actually acknowledge what was going on. Once you know what the problems are and your emotions that you are identifying, everybody responds differently to every trauma. So for me, it was a mix of anger, grief, agitation, all sorts of emotions came on. Once I identified those problems, the next step was to identify what the solutions could be, and taking every day step at a time and not stepping and sort of jumping to the conclusion, but taking every day, being grateful for the fact that I'm waking up every day, counting my breath, that, okay, I am still breathing. Okay, what's the next step? Really breaking everything down helped for me. The ultimate was, it sounds very hypocritical, but trying to change the doom and gloom and the sadness into a strength and finding some reason behind why this pain has happened to you and why this is actually happening to me. I found that in my medical practice. That was, my solace was my work. My solace was my patients. And amazing how, yes, I am in the healing position where I am supposed to be giving therapy to people, but I found my patients healed me and their experiences and the everyday interaction I had with them. It made me, I hope, into a better clinician. I channeled my energy of sadness and pain into work and my commitment towards that. And I hope that it has made me into a better clinician. It has made me into a real person, I suppose, that I can relate to people with potentially similar things.